3.2 on our agenda. We need to approve the agenda, and I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
I have a motion.
Second.
And a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Against, same. Thank you. .3 is a moment of silence for Patsy Bateman, retired elementary assistant at West Salisbury, and Chipman. Lee Powell, instructional supervisor, 53 years for our students in this county. At this time, honored.
Mr. Fitzgerald,
Yes.
I'd just like to comment that Mrs. Powell taught for me years ago at Beaver Run School, and I was saying to some of the folks earlier, lady who had a heart for children. Children loved her, and in her older years looked at her almost like a grandmother. Forgot more about teaching reading than some people will ever know. She knew how to help children learn to read. She loved doing that. And the impact she had on the lives of children over those many years that she spent in our county, nobody knows. But I can tell you it was a positive, loving, wonderful impact. She is one of the many employees who've made our school system as strong as it is today.
And I'll agree. So at this time, in your own way, moment of silence, please. Thank you. 3.4, public comments. And I don't have any sheets in front of me, so evidently I don't have anyone that wants to speak. 3.5 on the agenda, superintendent's report. Dr. Hanlon.
Just a brief report, but I was reflecting, Havoc mentioned earlier that we have just a few short weeks before the school year starts again. And I cannot tell you, in fact, I think staff would agree with me, the number of people who wonder what it is we do during the summer. And we are extremely busy during the summer. It's a different kind of busy, but we're very busy. And I wanted to just take a few minutes to run down some of the kinds of things that we've been working on over the course of the summer, bringing to closure one school year and getting ready for a second school year. We have had hundreds, if not thousands, of students who have continued in instructional programs, from birth to 5 playgroups to pre-K extended programs. We had a brand new summer school program this year where we were able to increase the number of students. This is at the elementary level, our Summer Scientist Academy that you all are very well aware of. We went from what was typically an average of about 165 students to 500 students.
That's absolutely wonderful.
It is wonderful. And I just can't thank staff enough for the hard work in pulling that program together. It was in 4 locations, as you know, across the system. And I think part of what was appealing to the community or to parents was the fact that we partner with the YMCA, with Department of Recreation and Parks, with Crown Sports Center for aftercare program. And we also had our own aftercare program, just a continuation of a program that we have during the school year, our LEAP program. So lots and lots of things happening. Camp Aspire that went on at Salisbury Middle School with project-based learning, middle school enrichment camps, and then our traditional secondary summer school programs where students could go for making up credit, remedial assistance, or going for original credit. We had a group of Chinese exchange students and teachers who were with us for a few weeks, and we thank the community who helped us with that by hosting families, a very positive experience for them as well as for our own staff and students. Just a number of instructional programs and enrichment activities. We also had our Leadership Academy under the leadership of Mrs. Malone, where our leadership was learning over the course of the summer for intense days, but days well spent. Kudos to Mr. Langen and his team for completing our Wireless Everywhere project, where all of our classrooms across our school system now are equipped to handle 32 plus laptops, where students can have access to wireless instructional programming as well as online testing situations. So congratulations on completing that. We also, as you know, have completed or initiating a pre-kindergarten program at Prince Street. I think the last that we shared with you with the board was that there was going to be an enrollment period. I'm pleased to tell you that that is over-enrolled. We have students on a waiting list.
Oh,
So it's
That's
we all
great.
know the value of pre-kindergarten
That's great.
programs, and I just commend Jason Miller and Susan Jones and her team for making that happen at Prince Street.
I think Susan said to us at our last meeting she
did.
had no reservations about saying she thought it would be full, and
Yes.
now she's got a waiting list, so
Yes.
that's great. That's
39 students, I believe, plus I think 6 on a waiting list. So that is great. I also want to commend our Student Services Department for extended hours. I just really think that's a wonderful thing for our community, and I will let the community know that we still have a couple of Saturday sessions if anyone needs to, because of work circumstances, come into the Board of Ed and meet with someone from Student Services. We do have Saturday hours on the 12th. That's the Saturday, as well as the 26th. Is that correct? Also, our food services program, our summer meals program throughout the community, open sessions or places throughout the community, in churches, in shelters, on playgrounds, where students can continue with the importance of a nutritional meal. And that continues through August the 11th. So commend Mr. Gosley and his team for his work with that. We also have hot off the presses, actually not off the presses yet, but as you know, we have Mr. Paul Butler is with us as our Director of Communications, and one of the things I told him, the first thing I wanted he and Mrs. Saylor to work on was a communications plan, and this got delivered to my office this morning. So I've looked over it very quickly, but I'm anxious to review it and then to be able to share with the community what are our strategic steps that we're going to take to communicate both internally and externally in the school system. I know that one of the things that Mr. Butler is working on is a YouTube channel, and
I already
so
watched it.
you have watched.
I watched it last night. My wife
I think
showed
it
it
was
to
on
me.
Facebook, but
Yeah.
I asked Andre to pull it up so you could see.
Don's not on it.
I didn't even know Don knew what YouTube was, and now he's watching it. I'm impressed, Don.
My wife has it. I don't.
You opened the door, but
That's
I didn't
right.
walk through it.
That's
I
right.
did.
Well, we thought we'd give you a little taste of the work that Mr. Butler is already working on and highlighting the many wonderful things about our school system.
Well, hello, this
That's
is
what I
Paul
want.
Butler, Director of Communications and Community Outreach for Wycomico County Public Schools. Thanks for stopping by our Facebook page. Well, listen, Wycomico County Public Schools is an amazing school system that has a lot to offer for your child in preparing them for the real world. From the very best classroom instruction, amazing teachers that work to stretch your student to grow outside their comfort zone, to support staff that really cares about the student, and a central office that is constantly looking at the best ways to serve the nearly 15,000 students in 26 schools and learning centers. WCPS also has championship-level athletics, magnificent marching bands, and excellent extracurricular activities. We believe Wycomico County Public Schools provides an environment to help your child achieve whatever they can dream. And by the way, Stop by a couple of our pages to find out what's going on in our school system. We feature staff, students, amazing programs on our YouTube channel. Just go to Wycomico Schools. On Twitter at WCBOE and our website, WCBOE.org. Giving outstanding education and experiences for your child. We are Wycomico County Public Schools.
Great
Very nice job.
Oh man,
Good
that
job.
Very nice job.
that's
Good
awesome.
job.
That is awesome.
That's what I said
Well
last
done.
night.
Yeah, we're very excited about our ability to just increase even more our communications, as I said, both internally and externally. So thank you, Mr. Butler, for the work you're doing and for the continued good work that I know you're going to do. I also asked Andrea to pull up our website because we are going to be working on our website, making it as user-friendly as possible. But I wanted to point out to the public who may be watching, we've been talking a lot about all the things we've been doing over the summer, but I also wanted to point out to the public that there's lots of great information on our website about back to school. The first two items that you see up there are school profiles. Look here for open house dates, open house information that has specific school information for those who are in the community who may be watching today. That we encourage you to go there and look at specific information about your schools. It's just right around the corner, as we mentioned before. We have a back-to-school kickoff this year at the Wycomico Youth and Civic Center for all staff on the 31st of August. And then back to school the day after Labor Day, September 5th. So it's been a very fast summer, but packed with great work. Not to mention all the things that have been going on in human resources and all the hiring. And so we're very busy in the summer.
Donna, the other postscript I would add to that is I am always looking at the appearance of our schools during the summer, and particularly in the last weeks of August as we get ready to welcome back our students. And our facilities department
Absolutely.
has done a great job this summer keeping grass cut and bushes trimmed and the appearance of our schools looking nice during the summer, which I think is so important, and particularly so when our parents start returning in August to walk into a school that looks not only well kept on the outside, but certainly clean and fresh on the inside. So those people who think during the summer that teachers and everybody else have the summer off just don't know what's going on, because they've been very, very busy, and I'm appreciative of all that's been done.
Yeah, thank you. As I am. So, Courtney, I will, the other thing under my report would be our grants report. So, Courtney Jones.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. During the month of July, we had 11 grants submitted, totaling $36,305. One to the Gene Haas Foundation for scholarships at Parkside for $20,000. One for the Chesapeake Bay Trust for $2,875. 7 for Teacher Supply Box Program through the Kids in Need Foundation. 5 from Beaver Run, and actually that should be 2 from Prince Street. I apologize. I just saw that I put Beaver Run twice. I will correct that. We also submitted 1 to the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore for Future Farmers of America at Parkside, and 1 to the DART Foundation for issues investigation for climate science for our Thinking and Doing program. We had 5 grants funded during the month of July, totaling $71,337. 1 from the Governor's Office of Crime Control and Prevention, 2 from Lower Shore Workforce Alliance, 1 from the Toshiba Education Grant, and also the Gene Haas Foundation for $20,000 was also funded. We did not have any grants that were not funded during the month of July. And you can look down through there for the state and the non-state grant information. Combined year to date, we have requested $1,921,207, and we have received $107,262. And 9 grants funded, and we still have 20 pending as of this month. So, and I stand for any questions.
At the start of the year, I know that 5.58% is going to get a lot better.
It is.
No doubt in my mind.
Well, to begin
Thank
the
you.
year to have this many grants submitted in July speaks well of how our people are. You don't write a grant in 10 minutes.
No.
Hours of work go into doing one of these, and the fact that this many have been submitted in July, I think speaks well of the efforts people are putting into trying to get some extra funds for our county that will allow us to do things we couldn't do any other way. I've said that so many times, I'm going to say it this probably last time, but that this is so important.
Thank you.
And to have them funded in July this quickly is also important, I think.
Thank you very much.
And thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have anything else?
I do not. Concludes my report.
Okay. Moving to 4.1. Everyone's had the opportunity to look at the open session minutes. I'll entertain a motion to accept.
Move we accept the minutes.
Got a motion,
A second.
and there's a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Against, same. Thank you. We move to consent items 5.1 through 5.10, 5.9. Everyone has had the opportunity to go over these. If there's any questions, and make sure, I guess, Mrs. Malone, 5.3, I figure I'd asked it before Mr. Williams. 5.2, 5.3, and 5.4, was there any other comments?
There have been no additional comments. We do have the evaluations that were submitted during first reading, but no additional comments.
Okay. So, any other questions? Here, none, I'll entertain.
Don, could
Go
I
ahead.
just ask someone to give us a little clarification on 5.9,
Sure,
the contract award for the Employee Assistance Program?
sure.
I think maybe we need to have a little bit more information about that.
Okay. I guess Vince.
Sure. What would you like to know, Mr. Willie?
Well, this is not just for us.
Okay.
We're a part of a group of counties that's doing this. Is that not correct?
We piggybacked the contract, so we jumped onto the SMEC agreement. They had, I don't know how long they've had this contract. It's at least since 2012. Yeah, it was September 1st of 2012. SMEC, which is a consortium of Eastern Shore counties, did business with, and they did a request for proposal back then to engage in a contract with an organization. They did enter that contract with Business Health Services. And so rather than doing a completely from scratch RFP, Mr. Miller and I talked about it, and we decided we would piggyback the contract since we're part of the Eastern Shore group, and technically we are also SMEC members.
And how is this a benefit for our employees?
It will provide benefits that range anywhere from drug and alcohol counseling to marital counseling to if you're just having, a variety of mental health issues, physical issues, family counseling, money problem. I mean, employee assistance can run the gamut across a variety of places. It just gives people some help when they're struggling. And sometimes we'll even advise people to go and seek counseling if they're struggling on the job or whatever.
So the point of my question I will now make. This says that we care for our employees beyond just their workday, but also in helping them deal with personal problems that they may be facing. This is what this assistance is all about.
Yes, we've had an employee assistance program for many years, but it was very low level, and it
Right.
was very basic type of counseling services. This is a little more broad. The contract with SMEC provides a slew of additional benefits where we'll be able to get some people some assistance. I mean, personally, I've been contacted more often in the last couple of years with people that are struggling in a variety of different ways, whether it's, you know, marital issues, loss of a loved one, a lot more financial issues happening nowadays, a lot of people getting themselves in that situation. And so this will provide us with another avenue to get them some assistance and the help that they need.
Thank you. I just wanted to make the point that we do care about those folks who work for us, and this is one example of what we try to do to help them. I'm not sure everybody knows about that this is available, and I thought we just should maybe take a minute and just point that out. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Mark, anything?
Nope.
He agrees with everything I just said.
Any other comments or questions? No, entertain a motion to accept consent items.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Against, same. Thank you. .1. Upon the superintendent's recommendation, is there a motion that the board approve the attached proposed budget calendar for year 2018-19?
So moved.
I have a motion
Seconded.
and a second. Discussion. Jesse, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. I'm available for any questions you might have on the calendar.
The only question I got, looks like Bruce has got you lined up pretty thick coming
Yeah, it's
down.
going to be busy.
You didn't realize you were going to start August the 8th and go all the way down to February or something, right?
Somebody
That's okay.
said,
I'm
when
ready
do
for
you
it.
start working on the budget? And I said, we never stop.
We never stop, that's right.
Seems like we just.
So that's what this says, in essence, doesn't it, Jesse?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Any other
If I
comments?
could point
questions?
out,
Go
Mr.
ahead.
Fitzgerald, just one additional item, something that we're adding to the budget calendar this year. You'll note on January the 29th, in partnership with the Chamber of Commerce, we're going to be doing something called the State of the Schools. We'll be having a lunch and inviting the community at Parkside. We'll be highlighting our CTE culinary program at that luncheon, and it gives us an opportunity to share with the community what our budget looks like for any input that they may have.
You cooking?
I'll be there, but I'm not cooking.
Any other comments? I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Against, same. Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you.
6.2. Upon the recommendation of superintendent, and in accordance with the board policy, ADM-FAC-PL-006, is there a motion to approve the selection of the pre-qualified architectural and engineering firms for services outlined in the attached summary?
So moved.
I have a motion
Seconded.
and a second. Discussion. Matt, how are you?
Great. How's everybody doing today?
All right.
Hope this is as easy as Jesse's. So our pre-qualified list, as you know, lasts a year. Then we have two chances to renew that, which we have. So we've gone through the 3-year period, and we had to reset. So currently, we per the board policy, a new solicitation was undertaken. I think we had about just over 60 requests for information. Of the 60 plus, we got 28 RFQ submissions, which was good. And ultimately, the QEC members, we selected 3 to 5 firms per category. That's in the attachment you guys have in board docs.
We don't have, I don't have any attachments. That's what I'm looking for.
We didn't get it.
It said, what it says, summary to follow after Dr. Hanlon's final
After
review.
Dr. Hanlon's
Is that the
final
one?
review.
I emailed it to you after the
okay.
meeting.
But that's all right. Go ahead. It was,
Anyway, it's pretty standard. We've selected 3 to 5 firms per category. And if approved today, the letters will go out this afternoon or before the end of the week to the ones that were approved as well as the ones that were not selected. Really, there were no surprises. We had pretty much the same players that came forward.
Any new players, Matt, or have we experienced with all of the players that are on the list?
We did have a few new ones. They're identified in the handout that you did not receive yet. Trying to think if I have that. I'd have to pull it up. Do you have one? Awesome. Thank you, Bruce. The architecture firms, and a lot of the ones that are new are firms that we already do work with, but we hire them through other processes. For example, the architect group, Horde Copeland Mock, who everyone knows well from the Bennetts. We got them on the list. They were never on the pre-qualified, so they're on the list. Crabtree, Rohrbar, and Associates is another one that we've done work with. Liesl did work with them. And, Queen Anne's got them on the list. Going down the list, there's a couple of building envelopes, Walker Restoration, Civil, A. Morton Thomas and Associates, something we haven't worked with before, Commissioning, Kybard Associates, and then Electrical, Alban Engineers, who Mr. Alban has been here several times. He's working on the Delmar and I believe Beaver Run. So it's people we're used to working with, they're just not on the list.
Any other questions? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Against, same. Thank you. You're going to stay right there too, I believe, aren't you?
Yep.
6.3. Upon the recommendation of the School Building Commission and the Superintendent, is there a motion to approve the combined design development construction documents for the Delmar Limited renovation project as reviewed during the work session on August the 1st, 2017, to proceed with this with the required state submission? I need a motion.
So moved.
I have a motion and I have a second. Discussion. Matt?
All right, as you just noticed, we discussed this at the August 1st meeting. We discussed the scope and how it was changed over the last several years. It was noted in order to request funding this upcoming fiscal year, FY19, we need to have the drawings into the state prior to submitting our state CIP in the fall. If approved today, we will make a combined DD-CD submission probably by the end of August, and that will put us in line to submit for funding in the FY19 CIP request.
Man, I'm excited about what I saw in our work session regarding Delmar and what's to be done there. The new principal is also a part of this, and staff has had input. I just want to see it go forward. So I certainly support the project and the limited renovation that's been planned for Delmar.
And Matt, just for the public's advantage, could you just go over the timeline briefly so that everybody understands this is not going to happen
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes, with the funding request taking place this year, we actually won't receive those funds for another year. So the actual construction's probably not going to happen until calendar year 2019. We may do some precursor stuff over the summer of 18, but the actual funding won't be in place till the following year.
Okay, thank you.
And that's assuming we get state approval and we get money from the county as well. We're making a lot of assumptions there, but if all of that happens, we can begin 2019, right?
Yes, everything is in line, and we just got cash flows started this past week, so we're well into it.
So if it starts in 19, then it's finished by, just trying to get the whole timeline.
It could be potentially a 2-year project because of summers. We need 2 summers.
2021.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big project. It's much like Parkside.
So I'll be almost 40 years old by then.
Yes, you will. You'll be so old. Bless you.
Almost.
Poor old
Matt,
person.
where could the public go to see everything that's in this building construction that's going to be done? Where could they see a list of it?
Is I don't know if Monique or Andrea can answer is that presentation in the public?
Not yet
But
until
it
we
will
vote
be.
on it.
after we vote on it, will it go somewhere on our board so people can see it?
We can make sure that
Yeah.
happens.
The answer is yes,
Yes.
I think.
Yes.
We've always made that
Yes.
available
Yeah.
to
People can
folks.
see it.
Once the board has voted,
Right.
they've been able to get it
Yeah.
through your department, I believe, or through
Probably on board
online
docs.
resource, one or the other. So it's not going to be a secret. In answer to
Mhm.
John's question, what we're proposing is not a secret. People can certainly go look
No.
at it.
And Mr. Willie, after we vote on this on the 22nd of August, myself and Dr. Hanlon and hopefully the team is going to go to Delmar Board
Delmar's good.
Education and present to them what we're planning on doing.
Good.
So that's, something I think is needed. And once we vote on it, if it's a go, which I think it's going to be a go, then that's what the plans are.
Yep.
Any more discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Against, same. Thank you, Matt.
Yep.
Well, you're just in the hot seat all afternoon, aren't you?
Pull up.
Convenient. Lisa's on vacation.
I know. She knew when to take off.
I'll take it.
Upon the recommendation of the School Building Commission and the superintendent, is there a motion to authorize the Department of Facility Services to issue a request for proposal, RFP, for CMR Professional Construction Services to White and Turner Contracting Company for the purposes of Bennett Metal Cafeteria Edition, as presented to the board at the August 1st, 2017 work session? Included in this motion is approval to issue a notice to proceed, NTP, to Whiting Turner Contracting Company for the pre-construction services as outlined in the attached proposal for a total of $18,000. Note, as a review of the School Building Commission and the board, bonds funds are already available for the scope of work and will not require any additional funding from the county government. I need a motion.
So moved.
I have a motion.
I'll second.
I have a second. Discussion. Matt?
All right. As we just discussed, we brought this forth to the School Building Commission, and they approved the idea of moving forward with the cafeteria addition. Then at the August 1st work session, we reviewed the issues were. It was noted that the project was brought forth to respond to existing capacity issues in the cafeteria. At the time, we had several administrators here to discuss the problems that they were addressing, and I think Christelle is in support today as well. Again, trying to alleviate the current issue at hand, and that's the seating on the cafeteria, on the stage platform to be exact. If approved to proceed today, we'll submit an RFP to Whiting Turner for CMR services as well as pre-construction services. And from there, we'll move forward to bring a contract to the board on the 12th of September.
Matt, very briefly, could you explain to the public why we are spending this funds to enlarge a cafeteria that is less than 2 years old?
Sure. Just like you said, very briefly. At the work session, we discussed how the original project was started design feasibility study in 2008. And when we go for state funding, they do a 7-year projection. And at that time, it was 931 students projected at year 7. Through the FY, I think it was 12 submission when we were getting towards the end of funding, or it might have been 10, sorry, don't quote me on the year, but it went up to 988, and that's what the school cafeteria was based on, 988 students. And again, that was 7 years out. We're now past year 7, and we're over that capacity of 988. So being over capacity, the school has put 6 tables on the platform to address overcrowding, as well as they utilize the gym and send some students to that space to help alleviate the overcrowding. So the goal of this is to add extra capacity to deal with this existing overcrowding at the time.
Matt, now that we're adding this capacity, does this exceed the fire rated capacity of that room?
It will not. We'll make sure that the fire marshal's involved.
Okay, and I don't know what that number is, but I would like to see it. And also, I believe there were some comments that on the breakfast, that breakfast is normally much larger than the lunch periods. are we, and again, this is a question I would like to have an answer to at some time, are we exceeding the fire marshal's rated capacity for students in the cafeteria when they're eating their morning breakfast?
I would say the current seating capacity will not allow us to exceed that rate. And I don't know if we ever have all the students in there. My guess would be this would be an administrative question, but once we hit the max, we have to either have 2 shifts or send them to another room. I can't clearly answer that. I don't know if anybody here can.
Christelle's shaking her head no.
Just have somebody here who could answer that.
We're not going over the fire rated capacity. At this point, we had a visit from the state fire marshal yesterday, just meeting with us, discussing what our plan is, what we've been doing. We're not going over capacity at this point.
And right now, the issue is that your lunch shift starts at 11 and doesn't end till 2. Am I correct?
It ends about 1:30.
1:30. So you're serving lunch a long, long time, which impacts everything else that's done in terms of instruction throughout the school. If you have this additional cafeteria, lunch service can be a shorter period of time, thus enabling instruction to function better. Is that a fair statement?
Mr. Willis, with the lunch shifts, right now it's almost 3 hours from the first lunch shift until the last.
I thought I had heard that figure somewhere. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Goss.
Would you say, Eric, say that again?
It's almost 3 hours from when the first lunch shift starts and the last lunch shift.
I think to Mr. Palmer's point, Mr. Butler did a great job with a news release that we saw in the Daily Times and other papers explaining why at this point we've just built Bennett Middle. It seems like we had to expand. I think that was great work on your part because the public in general, including me, didn't understand that when you get the funding, it's for a certain number of students, and we passed it pretty quickly, which could be looked at as a positive thing that people want to go to public school in Wycomico County, so they're growing. But your article was great. I read it, and others read it and understood it, so
Gee,
thank you.
This was just for those people who don't read the newspaper and who would rather watch us on our website. So this
They would rather watch you, but they read the paper than see me.
So it gives a little clarifications. Matt, I understand that the reason for this is because of we've had a bubble of students, an increase of students that's passing through our school down there in Bennett Middle. Has any other suggestions been made as to what could be done if they do not approve this this new add-on to the cafeteria?
Well, are you asking if we don't approve the cafeteria what we would do, or are you suggesting what was the whole school do with capacity?
What would if this wasn't approved? Then what would be the fallback for the school for the cafeteria?
Not sure.
If I could take a step at that, I think you're talking about the possibility of balancing enrollment. And again, I'm going to turn that over to the superintendent to address that because I know that she specifically has mentioned
for that.
New
board
terminology
about
there,
Yes.
balancing
Balancing enrollment.
Balance.
Yeah, we recognize that Bennett Middle is at capacity or in some situations over capacity. And as we look at that bubble that's moving through the elementary schools and is going to be moving into the middle schools, that population is going to increase at Bennett Middle. And we have space in our other middle schools. One of the things that Mr. Briggs is going to be working on this year with a task force is going to be looking specifically at instructional programming, specifically first in our middle schools, because I believe it's the right thing to do instructionally, and to look at types of academies, magnet programs, whatever you want to call them, that will give students an opportunity to pursue areas of study in their passion. So, or to engage them in areas of instruction in an academy-like format, so that, for instance, if at Salisbury Middle at some point in the future we had a middle years international baccalaureate program, or we expanded the STEM program at Salisbury Middle or at Wycomico Middle, and we do the same thing at Bennett Middle, there are ways that I believe that we can allow students to go to their school of choice, and that also would allow us an opportunity to balance enrollment, if that makes sense. I'm not sure we answered your
I think
your
you
question.
did. Just one question is, when will these studies be done?
We're working, Mr. Briggs. I'll let you.
Our initial task force is set up to, our first meeting is Monday the 14th at 1 o'clock, so the conversations will be starting next week.
And we'll be definitely taking a look at what kinds of recommendations can we be making this year as we look to the future because of budget implications. Not that we're going to do, we'll put forth a plan that will probably look at a few years over the course of the future, but we're going to be looking at, well, what do we need to do immediately? And then what do we need to do next year? And then so a multi-year plan. But some recommendations could be coming forth to the board as we look at the budget process for this coming year.
Dr. Hanlon, is it also fair to say that that same challenge faces us at the high school
Yes.
level? We're starting with middle school because that's where it is most pronounced at this point, but the issues still exist at the high school level as well.
And that's correct. But I just want to emphasize again that we're not doing what I'm describing with instructional program and engaging students in areas of study that they want to be engaged in. That's the primary objective. And what happens as a result of that is a good thing in terms of enrollment balancing. So we're not doing it just to balance enrollment. I think it's the right thing to do instructionally.
Well, it also enhances special programs in terms of students who qualify for those or who wish to be in those, and those programs don't necessarily need to be in a school that's already bursting at the seams, but could be in a school where there is space.
Correct.
I think that's what I'm hearing you say, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yes, okay.
And you said it so much more succinctly.
And if this work is completed, and the bubble passes, and that population goes down, this work wouldn't have been wasted. I mean, because
Absolutely not.
we can still, the school was built so that we could add on to classrooms at either end of the school.
Absolutely.
It's already there, so we could add on to it, and
You're
then
right.
the capacity of the cafeteria will be sufficient.
Adequate to
Correct.
take that.
Okay.
Correct.
All right.
Good
Thank you.
point. Good point.
And we should emphasize no additional funding from the county, right? There's
No,
bond
it's all
funds
residual
there.
bond
Already
funds.
Yep, very
That's,
good.
that's the key.
That's the key piece in my mind, too.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Against, same. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Matt.
That's all.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. 6.5.
Well, I'd say that was done in a timely manner, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Very good.
Personnel matters. Informational. Everybody's had the opportunity to look at them, and we had in closed session we talked about with Vince. 7.1 board members' reports. Mr. Palmer, I'm not going to make you go first. Mr. Malone, I'll let you go first.
Nice. Well, most of the time when I come for board reports, I know what I'm going to say, but today I didn't, honestly. And listening to Dr. Hanlon talk about all the things that are going on in the summer, I knew some of them, but honestly didn't know them all. It's just amazing how much we do during the summer. And what's most amazing is I would have called it summer school, but it's summer enrichment, going from 165 to 500. That's just an amazing statement about the school system, that we have that many students that want to be enriched during the summer.
And that's just in one program.
That's
Mr.
one
Malone.
program, right. So that is just awesome. So Dr. Chase always very eloquently would talk about the great employees and staff we have in the public school system. And I can't replace him there, but I do want to add what a wonderful job all of you have done all through the summer while the general public may not realize how hard you work during the summer. So I say thank you for all of that. And I look forward to school starting soon. The next time we meet, school will be in session. There'll be all kinds of exciting things to talk about. Right?
That's right. Mr. Willie?
It's very clear that my colleague on my left has just studied all of my notes because no, I just want to ditto what was said. These summer programs, just absolutely, I'm thrilled to hear about enrollment. I'm thrilled to hear we've got a waiting list for enrollment at Prince Street. These are the kinds of things that tell me that we are engaging students in activities that will do nothing but help them grow to be good citizens. So that to me is a wonderful, wonderful report to hear, and it brightens my day and my whole summer.
Thank you. Mr. Palmer?
Well, I didn't bring any notes either, Don, but I can always bring something up. And what I'd like to bring up is we have such a great communication setup going now with our transparency on our cameras and all that we have now, the ease it is of getting to it, having Mr. Butler on board to put out the good words that's going on in the school system. And believe me, there's so much good stuff going on in the school system that people really are going to find it hard to take, but a lot of good things are going on. Some bad things go on, but hey, we take it in step, we identify it, we take action on it, and that's going on right now. And I want to encourage the public to please read the websites, read what Mr. Butler puts out. Come to the meetings. We have the meeting scheduled on our website. You can come. You have any questions, you can put the questions forward at the meeting, and one of Dr. Hanlon's staff will get back with you and let you know exactly the answer to the question that you ask. Dr. Hanlon has a number of open door meetings where she just sits there with a cup of coffee, and you can come in and ask her any questions you want. You don't have to go through a whole bunch of administrators. You can just go right up to her and have a cup of coffee with her. So that's really great for the public. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, my comments are, if you haven't had the opportunity to go by West Salisbury Elementary School, please do so. I've been over a couple times in the last month, and I'm just amazed. The school looks so big, and the community, when it's completed for opening of school next year, the community is going to be very proud of that building. So, and also the work that's going on for choices, it's coming, and it's not far from being ready. So it's been great. I've been riding around. On Saturday, I had the opportunity to go to a block party at Prince Street School, and I was impressed with the students, the staff, and Allen Memorial Baptist Church, who is the faith-based partner for Prince Street, were there. The kids were having a good time. The sheriff was there. The county executive was there. So yeah, I think it was well received. Jason Miller does a great job. And so it was nice to go over and listen and see what was going on. But school activities start tomorrow for any athlete. Fall sports starts tomorrow, so really doesn't start the day after Labor Day. So again, to the students that start tomorrow and participate in sports, band's already been working out. But again, to them, good luck and have a great season. And unless somebody has something else, meeting adjourned. Thank you.